All these rumors are fun to talk about, and Red Bull hasn't blown up yet.
Alex Albon's birthday, and his gift, Logan Sargent's car.
With the drain covers, why is this such a big issue?
That's what I'm saying. Alonso more and more is looking like Aaron Rodgers.
He's geriatric. We just kind of want him for merit mark.
You cannot win a constructor's battle when your second driver is not performing.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Things are getting crazy.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Lights Out Latest. My name is Marina. I'm here with Jason and Christina. We're talking all things COTA, but first, as always, headlines. I want to start with today's headline: Colton Herta to Formula 2. Jason, your thoughts?
Yeah, so this was a massive rumor back earlier this year when he didn't renew with Andretti immediately, and I heard all the rumors he's going to F2. And the biggest reason is because he doesn't have enough super license points, because you need, at least like 40 to get a super license?
I think so, yeah.
And they expire on like a rolling 5-year basis.
It's
and to
3.
be honest, 3? Oh, so it's even tougher. The FIA really doesn't do IndyCar any favors. Like, you earn more points racing an F2 than you do in IndyCar, which I think is a little unfair. But, yeah, basically, unless he won the IndyCar series, he wasn't going to get enough points, which is a tall task, especially at Andretti with the car they had this year. So really his only route to Formula 1, which obviously Cadillac wants him, an American driver in F1, it's got to be F2, which almost seems like a step down, and it pretty much is a step down for most people. But this is like he has to do it to get into F1. Now, the FIA, for their part, they could have given him like special permission to just go into F1 anyways. Like Kimi Räikkönen got special permission. Max Verstappen, I think he got special permission. There was multiple drivers that have had special permission before to just skip the super license point system. But for whatever reason, the FIA said, no, we set the rules and you got to follow our system. So he's going to F2.
Yeah.
Is he confirmed as like a reserve or anything, or a test driver?
For Cadillac, yeah.
Okay, because I know, I don't know where I heard it, but this weekend I heard Cadillac, like their team principal or someone was like, we didn't want a rookie. We wanted an experienced driver because we're a new team. We don't want to have to train someone new. So I figured that they were just like taking him on as like a rookie or like a test, like a reserve or a test driver so that he can get experience. So eventually he'll then replace Checo or Valtteri.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
We talked about this when he was announced as a reserve. And Jason was like, oh, he's going F2. And I was like, okay. But now he was right. So I think it's great. I think it's a big step for American drivers. I think Logan Sargent, sorry, Christina, tried and failed. He wasn't good enough.
He's just a guy. Leave him alone.
Hey, at least it's better than Santino Ferrucci, right?
I'm just talking on-track performance. I don't think he was good enough. But hopefully
I don't base the drivers I like. I don't base drivers at all in my rankings of how I like them by their driving. It's all personality. It's lore. It's if I relate to them.
I'm not saying I don't like Logan Sargent. I'm saying as a driver, if we're talking about statistically and on-track performance, he was underwhelming. As an American, I think it was important for Williams to have an American on the grid, and I think it's even more important for Cadillac to have an American on the grid. So this was their, I think, best step, if not Jack Crawford. Is he not American in F2?
He's from Dallas.
Yeah, so...
Wait, no, he's from Houston. I'm a liar. I take that back.
I was like 99% sure, but I was like, I don't want to be wrong.
I've
He's
talked to
good
too many
too,
people.
but I think they were looking for someone a little bit more experienced. So we shall see. I do also want to talk briefly while we're on the IndyCar topic. A lot of stuff about the Alex Palou lawsuit has been surfacing, especially on my For You page. Apparently I've broken into that stuff. His lawsuit against McLaren, but more specifically, the alleged text about Zach Brown saying we never wanted Oscar, or he he wasn't even on our radar or whatever. What do you guys think about that? And do you think it at all will affect Oscar hearing these things, whether or not they're true, the rumors circulating?
I don't know if it's
Well-
necessarily affected Oscar, but there are definitely probably things, as we already know, things are going down in McLaren because who knows what's happening there. But I feel like this probably doesn't help their situation for sure.
And
Because
it's
Oscar's
not.
like,
It's
"So,
funny.
did you want me or not?"
It's funny you bring up the F1 side because I've been hearing all the same stuff, but because of the IndyCar side, because Alex Palou, now he's what, 3-time world champion, well, not world champion, but 3-time champion in IndyCar. He was due to sign for McLaren's IndyCar team
Mhm.
with hopes of getting on their F1 team. And as soon as he found out basically that he wasn't going to get a shot at the F1 team by signing that contract, and it was only for IndyCar, then he backed out of it, right? And there's been this ongoing like lawsuit of Palou suing McLaren for damages, and or McLaren suing Palou for damages, right?
Yeah.
So and then through this lawsuit, a lot of stuff has been coming out again about like messages of like Zach Brown and like the agreement and who deceived who. And the number one thing I heard from the IndyCar side is Zach Brown intentionally asked all his team to like turn on disappearing messages, and all business was done through WhatsApp.
Interesting.
That man.
Yeah, so a team representative has said like, "Oh, that's standard practice for security. We have disappearing messages, so like
Like that
nobody
shit.
could like hack in and like see our stuff." So that's like the word from the team, kind of. But yeah, no. So not only is he probably dealing with a mess on the F1 side, but on the IndyCar side, he's still dealing with a lawsuit from IndyCar's top driver.
That
Yeah.
man's just a mess as a whole.
Yeah.
I appreciate what he did for McLaren. Like he's in like imagine this, right? You run a racing team, but you're in every sport. You're in Le Mans, you're in IMSA, you're in IndyCar, you're in Extreme E, you're in Formula E, you're in Formula One, and you're winning at a number of them, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he has all this drama package that comes with it.
And it's all because he won Wheel of Fortune when he was 13 or somewhere around that age.
Pat
It's
Sajak,
wild.
damn it, Pat
It's
Sajak.
wild, the story. I don't particularly like the way he has handled McLaren F1 situation, let alone this situation. And I
Yeah.
think me and Christina, we were at COTA, and after the race, we went to the live taping of the Gunther Steiner podcast with Red Flags podcast, and they were talking about it, and they were just they didn't get it. Like, what are you Palou what are you gonna get out of Alex Palou? Like, they have more to lose. Like, what
Yeah.
is it? Like, it's not worth it. Really, from a McLaren point of view, like, it really isn't worth it, especially with all this stuff coming out. Whether or not it's true or not, the allegations can go far. We've seen it up and down the grid for a variety of reasons, but
Gunther also
was
learned that people don't care as much about the constructors as he thought.
yes,
Yeah.
that was really funny.
Yeah.
They were speaking of the Gunther with Gunther because they did like a what do you care about more, like, or do you care about the constructors or do you care about the drivers? And I think
And then
from a
they forgot to turn
manufacturer's
democracy off.
point of view, they care about the constructors. That's where their wind tunnel comes from,
Yeah.
their money. But from a fan point of view, like Christine was talking about earlier about like liking drivers' personality, a lot more people are fans of drivers than they are of teams. Like, I'm a huge Max fan, not so much a Red Bull fan. I don't have a huge passion for the Red Bull brand or the Red Bull team, but I do love Max. And so the drivers is much more important. So
The exception is
that's
Ferrari.
interesting. But from a team principal point of view, he was like constructors all the way. Like, that's what's important. So
But he was also in the bottom of the grid, so it also does matter at that point. That
Yeah.
where it is, oh my gosh, no, I am fighting for 8th and things like that. So I get where he was coming from, but the fans were like, nah, you don't really support Haas for Haas. You support Haas for like Ollie Behrman or randomly Esteban Ocon.
Yeah. Well, other news, a lot of contract signings this week.
A lot.
Namely, yeah, there were 1, 2, at least 3.
3.
Yeah. not necessarily drivers, just F1
Oh,
contracts in general.
I was only thinking of drivers.
No, but the first one
Three's
is a
still
driver
not a lot.
contract. George George signed with Mercedes. He did an interview. They asked how long it was. He said 52 pages. Clearly, they were talking about how long it was in years.
I enjoy the humor
All
though.
we know is multi-year. We were talking about it before. I think 1+1 or 2+1.
I'm thinking a 2+1 because everyone was saying Toto wanted a 1+1 earlier, and that's why it was taking so long. Because George refused to sign a 1+1 because he was like, "No, I'm not going to be here for 1 year, so you can develop the car, and then just drop me if you want and get someone better." Or not
Yeah,
necessarily
basically,
better,
this
but
is
like
all because of Max Verstappen. I
Yeah.
still think Toto is still so in love with Max Verstappen. Still has a lot of confidence in
Toto,
Kimi
you have
because of
Kimi
how he
Antonelli.
started the year.
Move on.
Yeah, so
Holding out
he is the second Max becomes available, like he's dropping George, and he wants George to be flexible. Now George, on the other hand, is like, I don't want to leave. Like I'm your lead driver right now, which fair
Yeah.
enough. And I mean, what they can both agree on is next year nothing's changing, right? Next year's nothing happening. They could both probably agree next year is going to be there. But beyond that is where the issues are. Like you said, like Toto wants the option to, drop him if he wants to in 27. And George is like, no, I'm ready for my big boy contract. Like lock me in for 5 years. Like
George isn't a rookie anymore.
he's
he's nowhere near
a top
the end of
driver.
his career. So yeah,
Yeah, he's
a
a top
long
driver entering his
contract,
prime.
at least 2-3 years should be something he should be like expecting or requiring, not a 1+1, because he's not like a rookie or something who you don't know how he drives. You know how he drives. You know how he acts in your car with your team. You should be able to be like, oh, okay, I can trust you for the long term.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's all Max. But I think, and again, if we go back to the Gunther thing, it's one of the things that you think about it a little bit, but I hadn't factored it in because Toto's always been so Kimmy, is the reality is George Russell is what, 27? He could have a decade left. I mean, look at Fernando, look at Lewis. So, I mean, it's not so like immediate that it's going to be Max for George. It could be Max for Kimi. I don't think it will be. And in no place in my brain do I think Toto Wolff is going to let go of Kimi Antonelli. But
No.
that's, I think, like you said, that's the main reason why this contract took so long. But now that they have this lease taken care of for 26,
Yeah.
be interested to see what the rest of the contract looks like, because the main two things people talk about is how long and how much. But there's all these complexities with the contract, like we had talked about with Max's contract, of like if they're not at X place in the constructors, or if he doesn't have X points, like then he can jump ship. Same thing. I think Mercedes definitely would have tried to put some of that in for George, to be able to maybe get Max. Like
I'm thinking they probably did like a 2+1, or just gave him like a 3-year contract and was like, but if you don't meet this certain spot, depending on how the car performs, we will vote you out and put, say, Max in the car or something.
Oh, there's probably clauses.
And then George is like,
everywhere.
no, I'm gonna get that spot then. So he was like, okay, fine. Probably could have also happened.
Yeah. Speaking of contracts for 2026, there's also the new deal between F1 and Apple TV, which will replace ESPN, as well as the F1 TV app going into 2026. My main question with this still surrounds the F1 TV app, because again, this is US only. F1 TV is global, so the app itself will remain active in other countries. And there are other countries that have deals like this, like UK with Sky Sports and whatever. But I would still like the archives of races. I would still like the press conferences and all that stuff, which is exclusive to F1 TV. You don't see that right now. Even if you're watching races on ESPN, you don't see that on ESPN. They're nowhere. They're only on the F1 TV app. So I think the question is still, what happens to the F1 TV app? What do y'all think?
Yeah, because Apple's replacing ESPN, right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, because ESPN did not have a contract with F1. ESPN had a contract with Sky Sports, and then Sky Sports had a contract with F1. So now Apple has a contract with F1. So they've taken Sky Sports out of the American question. So then Sky Sports,
mean,
of
they
course,
might
isn't going to be as
still.
happy because they're going to lose money.
Well, yeah, they might still have. I mean, F1 TV has that international feature where you can go whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If Apple TV is replacing ESPN's broadcasting rights, but also replacing the F1 TV app, they might have been able to structure
Do all of
Sky
it.
and in the other nations. I know they have Portuguese and Spanish and stuff, so all those other countries into the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so like there's no information.
But then are they also right now there's only one, I think. I don't actually know. I get my Apple TV for free with my student Apple Music account, but I don't know how many different options when purchasing Apple TV there are. So are you going to increase the price and make everyone pay for F1 TV whether they want it or not? Or are you going to do like you can get like cuz they also have the MLS or whatever, are you going to start dividing it where it's like Hulu and things where you get the basic and then you can add your F1 package, add your soccer package.
Ideally, it's going to be separate. I hope it is. The most important thing to me is that they keep the F1 TV functionality, which they already do in other
They better.
countries. Like, I think in the Netherlands with Ziggo Sport, and in the UK with Sky F1. Like, it's all the F1 TV functionalities there. Just it's through the Apple subscription now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other consideration, and like you were saying about, is it going to be an add-on or is it going to be part of the base subscription, is right now, if I know, I don't have Apple TV, but I'm pretty sure it's like $12.99 a month. Over a 12-year period, that is more expensive than F1 TV. I think that middle tier F1 TV is like $80. We were talking about it yesterday. So that is more expensive. That's the first thing. So if I have to pay $12.99, because you can't just buy an add-on. Like if I want to watch the NFL on YouTube TV, I can't just buy Sunday Ticket. I have to pay the YouTube TV subscription and add on NFL. So that's going to be much more expensive for your everyday consumer. I think the other thing is right now, if you pay $80 a year, there's much more casual viewers, or just if you have ESPN through YouTube TV, you wake up, it's a race. The race is at 2:00, like it was, or whatever time it was this week, 2-3 o'clock, depending on your time zone. Let me just throw on the race. I'm not doing anything else. There's no football right now or whatever. Like I think you lose the casual viewer if you put it behind such a steep paywall.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think hopefully it's not going to decrease, I don't think, US viewership, but it might get rid of some of those casual fans that aren't willing to pay for the Apple TV to get
I
access.
do feel like not a lot of people, but there's at least enough people that have Apple TV because there are good shows on it, like Ted Lasso. There's some random ones I have on my list that I need to watch. So I'm like, the viewership probably will go down, but I don't think they're expecting it to drop so much. But also, it's not that shocking because the Apple TV made the F1 movie. So
Yeah.
that kind of was probably it was their teaser to be like, oh, how's the reaction going to be? Are we going to get views if we put this on Apple TV, even though it's not out on Apple TV yet? But it's like, how will people react to Apple controlling something related to F1?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of it. I think I saw it coming, and we had talked about this. I want to say this became a headline forever ago. I remember vaguely writing
We
it on the
talked
podcast
about it.
notes.
So that did happen.
But I'm talking like almost 2 years ago now, if not longer, where it was a mention of like, oh, this could happen, or like Apple TV is bidding for this. Then they made the movie. The movie came out. The movie was a huge success for them. So I think it just was the next like casual step. My only question, kind of going back to what I was talking about yesterday, when you think streaming platforms and you're listing out Netflix, Hulu, whatever, does Apple TV make that list?
For me, yes.
Okay. Fair enough. I was just curious because for me, it doesn't necessarily make that list.
Because I'm like,
But
I
I
won't
don't
say them all out loud, but let me think. Like, it's in like my top like 6, but that's also because I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like also, between roommates and family, like somebody has it.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like I have it. Like I don't have it myself. I mean, I have a few things myself. Like I used to pay for F1 TV. Like used to have F1 TV, even though I had a TV provider with ESPN. I pay for F1 TV for like the onboards and the archives, right?
Yeah.
But because like Apple TV is there. Like you said, like there are a few like big shows on there. Like I think Severance is on there too.
Yes,
Like
Severance
there's
is.
a
I'm
number
only on
of
like episode 3.
yeah, there's a number of big shows on there.
But
So
because there
there's
are only 7 main streaming platforms, that when you think of streaming platforms,
Yeah.
those are going to be the first 7, and I
Yeah.
do include Apple TV in those main 7.
Yeah.
right.
Fair enough. All right. Moving into COTA itself, the last contract/deal signed this weekend was the extension of COTA as a track till 2034. I think it is a win. I
I'm
mean,
happy about it.
action this weekend was
Yeah.
great.
I think
I've-
it's how they release things is funny, because I was on turn 1, scrolling on Instagram, saw it posted 4 minutes ago, and I was like, okay, great. Then I get the notification from Instagram like 4 minutes later, 8 minutes after it's been posted. And then like 6 minutes later, I then get the F1 notification. And I was like, why do they give the F1 app notification after the Instagram notification a while after it's already been posted on Instagram?
Yeah, I think the Instagram notification part they can't control, but I've never understood why I find out about things on socials before I ever get the notification on F1, like the app.
Yeah,
I feel
because
like
they
their
purposely
app
post
should
them
be
on
a news
socials. So it's
stream.
like, you could be like getting more views or whatever activity, that's what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
on your app if you put the notifications on your app first, deliberately, waited like 10 minutes, then posted it on your socials.
I think, and the other thing is this like I say contract signed this weekend, but like they didn't sign this weekend. This has been signed for a while. They just announced it this weekend. So
Because that's how
again, you had plenty of time to write an article, because I think that's the other consideration with the F1 app is that when you click on that notification, there's a full article there.
Mhm.
So it does take a lot more time to make that than it does to take the breaking news template graphic that F1 has for everything and just drop a picture behind it and call it a
Yeah,
day.
but they're not going to post the graphic and like the post until they have the paragraph, because then they post the article like 10 minutes later. So
Yeah.
they could easily switch it around.
Yeah. Well,
Because I'm still going to
for
open. I personally would open the F1 first, because I don't have the Instagram notification yet. I get the Instagram notification or them at the same time, I open Instagram first, because I know it's going to be shorter.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't know what y'all are talking about, because I get all my news through Bing. So that's how I found out first. That it just works for me. Yeah, no, anyways, I gotta say this track was purpose built for Formula One. It was kind of its whole purpose to be
Yeah.
F1's home. The
It's
F1's
nice,
home
though.
before that
I enjoy
being F1's home being in Caesar Palace parking lot. That was an F1 track.
Mhm.
Or what was it? Long Beach? Was it ever there? That's
Mm,
still a
maybe.
road course, so it wasn't really meant for racing. And then they had Indianapolis, which Indianapolis road course was also not built for Formula One. It was just kind of wedged in between the oval there. So it
Mhm.
wasn't really a great track anyways. It still isn't the road course, except maybe endurance. Like it might have something. So they have a purpose-built real circuit that has been modeled after many of the great terms in Formula One, like Maggots and Beckett's, and having that long back straight and having turns like Turkey's high speed. I think it's like the 7, 8, and turn 7, 8, and 9 in Turkey.
Aren't those called the
Like,
S's? Or am I?
No.
Or is that earlier?
No. This is like, so that section after the back straight where they like go around a turn that's like a big U.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what they kind of have at Turkey,
Oh,
and that's
yeah,
a
no,
huge
that's-
overtaking spot. And so basically what I'm saying is like it was purpose built for F1 and modeled after the world's best F1 tracks. Even though we had a boring race this week, like I'm so happy it's
I
sticking
do have a
around.
complaint about the track, though, but it's not about the physical track itself. It's about what they're doing to the track. So, like 2 years ago, they
know
started
exactly where
building
this is
one
going.
roller coaster, and I that's when I go karting at home. I go karting at COTA because it's better. Because I go, oh, I'm just gonna go karting at COTA. Thanks, bye. But they added a roller coaster, which the one I first saw isn't even done yet. They added a second one. That one's already done. So there's a bunch of construction around there, which making it a 15-minute walk from the main grandstand to the main plaza at like turn 19. It's now a 15-minute walk to
I
get
knew
there.
exactly where this was going before when she opened her mouth, she's like, I gotta go right about the track.
But I'm like,
you're right, though,
why
there's so
did
much construction back there.
No, but why did we add roller coasters? Why are we making a COTA Land theme park? Why? I get the karting, that makes sense. They took away the kid, like they have a teeny tiny kid karting and they put mini golf there. It's like, why are we making this an amusement park? This is an F1 track. I
Well,
get
I
that some
think-
of them have amusement parks with them, but I'm like,
I think part of it
it was
goes back
for
to
so long.
what Jason was saying of like it being the home of F1, but I think it's
Yeah.
they're trying to make it the home of motorsports in the
Also
US.
a year-long venue too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
they're
if I'm
trying
an
to do the
operator of a
attractions, but
track,
I'm like,
like you need it to be a year-long venue. Sure, they host other stuff, but they don't even have IndyCar there. They have NASCAR there, not great. They have a concert there. They have a massive stage.
Yeah.
they have WEC there,
Yeah.
they have MotoGP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they're trying to attract everyone. I think the other
Wait,
part is,
Lex
and I
there?
heard this on track a couple times from people talking about I don't want to use the word amenities, but the things on track that are there now that weren't before after the additions of Miami and of Vegas of COTA is trying to get to that level of spectacle. It's always been a great racetrack, like you said, purpose built for F1. The turns are
Mhm.
phenomenal. The drivers love
Mhm.
driving on it. You can actually overtake on this track. So even though this particular race may not have been the most exciting, you still had plenty of action on track from the back end. And so they added more to the fan stage. They have more amenities. They're doing more with Amex. They're doing more sponsorships. And again, some of that's like bottom line of like you want to make sure that you are funding this and we can keep this going. But some of it's fan experience of just making it that much better and keeping it as like this is where we want the home of motorsports in F1 terms, at least in the US, to be here. Like we want to be the number one race in the US, not Miami or Vegas. Like we're cooler. Which I think is funny. I think I like it. I think COTA is a better track than both of those anyways. So
I mean, I personally don't go to an F1 track to go on a roller coaster. I go to watch the cars or drive on the track or something. So I get why they're trying to make it a spectacle and stuff, and like how a bunch of circuits have them next to the track. This is
Yeah.
literally practically on the track. I'm like,
Yeah.
if it was like not a long walk, make it like at least on the other side of the road, but still accessible, things like that. I'm like, that would make more sense, but I don't get why they're putting it on the track, basically. It's like the track is here, their theme park is here.
Well, they want you to go to the theme park when you're at COTA. They don't want you to go across the street when you're at COTA. But anyways,
it'll still be the same thing. Whatever.
I want to very quickly touch on the liveries before we get into the actual racing this weekend. Favorite livery from
Haas.
Test livery? Haas.
I'll go with Haas.
That's pretty easy.
There was like
The
6
stars
liveries.
looked great.
Yeah. It's a classic Haas. They do the same thing like every single year, but
Mhm.
I enjoy it. It's
think-
reliable.
In terms of visually appealing, it's definitely the Haas, if not the Williams. They did that throwback livery, which I really enjoyed.
Because like
V-Carb was
V-Carb-
that one that I kept looking at and being like, what the hell is that?
you didn't know it was
Hate
tortoise
it.
themed till I told you yesterday, and I
Yeah.
found out on like Friday or Thursday from a TikTok.
But tortoises
with
are
V-Carb
slow.
and Shabuzi.
But tortoises are
Tortoises are
slow.
slow.
Why would they do
Yeah,
tortoise?
they're trying
I
to
don't
give the
know.
impression that Red Bull is faster than V-Carb.
Oh,
You know what's the everyone's
that
like,
makes
oh,
a lot
V-Carb
of
is
sense.
clearly the
Great.
better car than Red Bull. They're
Big
going,
brain.
no,
Did
guys.
Shabuzi tell you that too?
No, did not
Okay.
talk to Shabuzi.
No, I think it's really, I thought it was really funny. Every time I looked at it, like,
We
what
should have
is
asked
it?
Peter.
Yes,
when we
oh my
saw
God,
him, we should have asked Peter.
we went to a
The S's
S's
magazine.
event, which is like an F1. It's a smaller magazine, but it's an F1 magazine, and they motorsports magazine, and they had a event that was in combination with Cash App.
Yeah.
So they had the drivers there, like they just like spawned out of nowhere all of a
They
sudden.
had the car.
them-
I assumed it would just be the car,
were
but
right
we did
behind
make
me.
friends with my whole For You page, at least one of them, and the rest of them like came with the one. And they were like, hey guys, let's go over to this part of the venue. And we went, okay. And then out walked Liam and Isaac. And I will say, Liam and Isaac, at least Liam did the whole time, were the exact same outfit Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and
They
Sunday.
look the same every day.
He wore
I
the
mean,
boots. He wore the
they're-
jeans.
You know what the
hat,
secret
and the
is?
shirt.
Is they just forgot a change of clothes. So that
Just
was
wearing
it.
Apparently.
It's easy. You don't have to pack anything. Just wear the same thing in your track every day. You don't even
Yeah,
have
just
to
tell
have
your trainer to figure out
your train-
laundry,
Well,
and that's it.
V
Right?
Carb had a bunch of those shirts for everyone, so they were gonna sell them. Just grab them from the stock. But anyways, yeah, they just like spawned out of nowhere, and
You know what?
the team
Oh,
principal, Alan Permain and Peter, they were both there,
Mhm.
so that was fun too.
do you know
Peter does
what's
look
really
like
funny?
the man from the bear. He's never heard that before, but he did agree.
What's funny, Jason?
Is that if they really didn't have laundry and they had a ton of shirts, they could probably sell their all-day worn shirts for a
So,
lot
like,
of
I
money.
get where you're going,
Like
but
if I'm Isaac
I
Hadjar,
would
I
say
just
it's
wore my
gross.
shirt all day and there's no laundry, but Red Bull has a truck of shirts. Like I'm signing it and selling it.
I mean, they
Yeah.
signed they signed a bunch of magazines. We
There
each
you
got a
go.
signed magazine by both the drivers. So,
Yeah. All right, last bit of news before we talk racing. I had to put this in because I feel like we moved on a little too quickly, and I
I
saw
thought you were gonna
new
skip it.
stuff from Canal Plus. Lando's repercussions. Christine doesn't want to talk about them.
I thought she was
know,
gonna skip
that's
it.
fine.
It's Zach Brown is a crazy man, and I unlike what the Red Flags podcast would not want to be inside Zach Brown's head.
I don't want to know what that man thinks,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
I think I do agree with what they were saying on the red flags, which was in what world do you use the word repercussions in the media, let them run with it and not tell them what it is? Because then you have people, all different outlets speculating. Canal Plus said they said we can confirm the repercussions have to do with qualifying order, which means Oscar gets to pick if he wants to go out first or second every run. He gets to pick.
That's
He
crazy.
gets the dominant.
Why?
He gets the strategy that he wants for qualifying, and Lando just has to do whatever he doesn't do.
I
So
mean,
Yeah,
it
but
seems
why?
like Oscar's now getting the preferred race strategy. I say race strategy because what McLaren usually does is at least what they show us on there. I don't listen to both their onboards. I haven't been listening to onboards like all year this year. But they always show the radio of McLaren asking Lando, when would you like to pit? Would you like Oscar to go first or would you like to go first? COTA, they showed them asking Oscar, would you like to go first or do you want Lando to go first?
yeah,
So it seems like they're switching things up, but it's like, is that now the repercussions or is it also because you're finally picking a driver to help and fight for this world championship?
yeah. Or is it just because he was P6, he was further back, and they didn't want to pit Lando right then, so they were like, "Well, Oscar, what do you want to do?" It could be anything, but the fact that they said, they use the word repercussions, and they just let us speculate, and now we just get to have fun figuring out. Wait, we just
It's
saw
not
this
fun.
track. Is that what it is?
Correction. It is not fun.
It's fun
trying
for
to
me.
figure this out.
I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun.
Like,
Anyways,
It's fun for like 5 seconds, and then you go, oh, why
you
do
know
I
what
have
else
to
I
deal
had a
with
lot
this?
of fun at, Christina? Do you know where I'm going with this?
COTA? Drinking the lemonade?
The sprint race,
Oh.
where me and Christina were precisely sat at turn 1, and I got to watch the McLarens cease to exist. It was wonderful.
I'm gonna be honest, I watched it happen, recorded it, used it in our episode that we posted for Sports Night.
Fourth night.
Chris said he liked it, so I was like, okay, I'll use it. But I watched it happen, did not realize what happened until like after all the cars drove away and Lando was just sitting there. Like watched it happen, saw the bottom of Oscar's car, was like, oh my gosh. But this does not sit in until they drive away. I feel like on TV it sits in way faster than literally being like 50 feet from watching it happen, and you hear everyone go ooh, and you're sitting at turn 1 and you're like, wait, what just happened? Even though I know what happened.
Yeah.
But it's
You
very much
saw it, but your brain didn't process it. That's how I was too. I was like, wait, what?
I was like, wait, what do you mean?
Ultimately, it was kind of an unfortunate series of events. I think for me, at least, it was definitely a racing incident. Oscar tried to cut under Lando, didn't realize that Nico and Fernando were having their own little battle.
Yeah, I think if Nico and Fernando hadn't been there,
there would be no
the
crash.
McLarens would not have gotten to a crash. No,
it wasn't, and that's why I'm saying like
it was
not
not Oscar's fault.
incident. Nico got squished. hit Oscar. Oscar goes flying into Lando. The funniest part of that entire situation was Zach Brown calling an amateur hour and then having to retract his statement because it was not amateur hour.
Didn't he originally say it was like Oscar's fault or something?
No, he originally said it was Nico's fault and that it was amateur hour. And then he's like, after watching the onboards, maybe it wasn't.
Whose fault
I don't
was
think
it?
there's someone to blame.
I know nobody's really at blame, but
I don't think there's anyone to blame for that. But it did set up.
To quote Charles Leclerc, nothing, just an incident on the race.
It did set up a really interesting turn of events for the rest of the race weekend. Max taking the win with 8 points, and both the McLarens DNFing. Of course, it's just a sprint, but 8 points is 8 points. And it brought everyone just that little bit closer, and then obviously the race result did that as well. Max was not the only Red Bull who had a good start. Shocker. Yuki jumped from P8 to P7. Yuki's a decent driver. He has not had the best of qualifyings. He's had better races recently, but he's not known to be this great starter.
Because they finally gave him the car.
And went to P7 on lap 1.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
The Sauber front wing with him.
I'm not surprised.
Staying on the Red Bull theme, what did you make of the Russell attempted failed overtake of Max?
When did that happen?
Lap 8 in the sprint.
At what turn? Like, it was so failed attempt that I don't remember it, is what I'm saying.
George dove up the inside, and Max went off track to avoid him, but
George now I remember that.
Went off track.
Yes.
And George was under investigation for forcing another driver off the track, which I thought was funny. And then Lando's in the media pen being like, "Oh, look, just like last year." But it was actually the opposite. It wasn't.
I think it was very. I'm leaving the Red Bull train. Sorry, not sorry. I do think Saturday was a very interesting day for McLaren because we got to watch all but Fernando, I think, drive past us on the little scooters that the drivers have to go on. Lando drives past us, helmet off, like waving at everybody. Oscar, helmet on, doesn't acknowledge anybody.
Bro's locked in.
Stares ahead and goes.
He knows he's gonna lose the championship soon. Like
he's gonna lose to Max.
He's gonna end up in third at this rate. I mean, it changes week to week, but like, you know, one little slip up on that scooter and a crack of the wrist, like he's out. So he stays locked in.
Yeah.
I do think, I'm not saying Oscar's going to lose. I do not care if he wins or loses. I will be happy for him, and I will be happy for Lando, whichever one wins or loses. But if Oscar doesn't win, I don't think he should take it too harshly. I know it's like, oh my gosh, you were leading it for so long. But at the same time, he's only in, his third year of F1? So he's got plenty of time. He will win one. If he doesn't win it this year, do not be upset at yourself, Oscar. You could easily just win it the next year.
I don't think Lando would be upset at himself. I think he would. Obviously, he's not going to put all the blame on the team, but I think he would put a little bit of the blame on the team. And I think it would. And no matter who wins, someone is going to go home upset because there's only one drivers. If Lando wins, Oscar's going to be pissed. If Oscar wins, Lando's going to be pissed. If Max wins, they're both going to be mad. You can't keep everyone happy within the team. Lando, in no world do I think Oscar wins a championship, Lando's leaving the team. The other way around, though, Lando wins a championship. I think Oscar has serious questions about whether or not he sticks with McLaren.
Yeah. I am going to say, well, you say if Lando doesn't win, you don't think he's going to beat himself up. As someone who likes Lando because we think the same way, things like that, like I resonate with him as a person. I do think not like if he doesn't win, he is going to beat himself up slightly, even though it's not his fault.
He's not going to beat himself up. I'm just saying he's not going to leave the team because of it. He's
No,
not
but
going
you
to
said
put all the blame on the
he's
team.
not going to be upset at himself. I'm like, yes, he is.
No, I think they would both be to an extent upset at themselves. I'm just saying I think Oscar would be less upset at himself and more at the team. Where I think I definitely agree. Lando, I think, would be more mad at himself. I think he would put more of the blame on himself than the team. Because frankly, besides these repercussions, he can't even. Almost every decision has favored Lando. He can't even be mad at the team.
That's
So-
not why I'm saying he would be mad at himself. But let's just move on. 'cause I
Moving
got
on
things
to the
to
best
be-
part of this sprint, though, Carlos podium again.
Oh, okay.
Again,
That was nice.
Like, this man has another smooth operation at Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He's still drastically points wise behind Alex in the championship, but he has made huge swings over the last couple weekends.
But I do think, yeah, it's crazy that even
Bad
though
luck on
he's
question mark?
behind Carlos, everyone behind Alex, everyone's like, okay, I'm not saying this isn't true. I'm not saying it's true. That everyone's like, oh my gosh, Carlos is now the number one driver, and people go, Alex has been getting more points than Carlos. Alex is getting points, guys. People like to forget he's there. I heard people saying he's washed, and that heckler behind me was wrong. And I'm like, guys,
There's no world in which I think Alex is washed. I do think that Carlos brings a presence from Ferrari that's very not just within the team, a team, but more so in the media, is very dominant.
That's something Ferrari focuses on. So he got that repped into him over and over again. Media, distract them with thirst traps, things like that.
Don't
That's
freak.
George's strategy.
I say don't
Ferraris.
But right now, Alex is giving like Franco Colapinto. Like half the time, I don't even realize he's there.
As an Alex fan, I
Because
always
he's
know where
not
Alex
shown-
is.
Because he's not shown much on the broadcast, A. And B, the media itself isn't giving him a ton of coverage. I feel like I don't see many interviews with Alex. I don't see like he's not been pushed as much as Carlos in the media.
The internet
Same as
thing with
Pierre.
Alex, I don't think is necessarily him not being as important. I think it's
Oh, it's definitely not.
it's also because like when he's technically British, the British media
Technically British.
because he's a British citizen, he just races under the Thai flag.
Yep.
But the British media refuses to accept him unless he does something really good, like gets on a podium. They're like, "Oh my gosh, look, remember guys, he's also British." So people
Who's
just like
the last bad British driver?
I don't
Will
know.
Stevens?
Like bad, or just like mediocre.
Like bad. But no, so,
Julian Palmer. Yes, that was
absolutely.
it.
So
Okay.
media is like,
so how did they treat him versus? Well, they didn't really talk down on him that
I feel like they
much.
didn't talk
It's
about
just
him.
kind of like he was irrelevant enough where nothing
the
ever
British
happened.
media, even though Alex is British, they refuse to acknowledge him unless something really good happens. Otherwise, they're like, no, that man is not British. Things like that. So I don't think that. So I think that also doesn't help his media presence. That's why you don't see as many interviews, because he's not technically a British driver. So like the British media isn't reaching out to him. He doesn't have like his country's media to like strongly represent him. How like even Franco Colapinto has like his sponsors and stuff, which like represent him and things like that.
Yeah.
So that
the
also
Spanish
helps
media
Carlos.
is behind him as well. So I think everybody has a lot of the drivers, even like someone like Max, because of all his success, has brought a Dutch crowd with him. Whereas I feel like you're right in saying that Thai media is not a big presence in the paddock. Like
Also, Alex is bringing a more Asian. He's not the only one, because like Yuki's there too. But he is bringing the Asian thing. Like Singapore, they bring him up more, things like that, because they're like, Alex, we're close to your home, things like that.
Yeah,
but it's like he doesn't have the home race, which most of the grid does, things like that. So I think all of that combines to his less media presence, causing people to think he's the second driver now.
Well, you see, the Canadian media has been propping up Stroll for years, so it's the same thing there. Like they literally have a Stroll grandstand, and people willingly choose to sit in that grandstand. So
would you?
The Canadian media is quietly doing their work, and the tiny media needs to step up their game.
Would you sit in the Lance Stroll grandstand?
I think it would be funny.
No, that is expensive. It comes with A
Of
helicopter
course,
tour.
it's expensive.
It comes with the
a what?
helicopter tour. You have to buy it with the helicopter tour.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
okay,
All right, let's
okay.
move on to the traditional part of the weekend. There was not a whole lot that happened in qualifying except for Isaac like crashing himself out. And
Oh no, I just
importantly,
switched
Crash out.
car.
yeah, importantly, the McLarens, the big, I think,
Oh, that's what we're
effect-
talking about? I thought we were gonna go Verstappen. My bad.
well, there is the Verstappen. He didn't
No,
get a second lap, but Verstappen.
Verstappen.
What did Verstappen do?
They got a 1-3 on the podium.
We're not even there yet. This is qualifying. Isaac crashed in qualifying, and Verstappen had that lap. But I think, and this is kind of I guess it's quali and moving into races. The McLarens didn't get they not only did they DNF in the sprint, but they didn't have all of the running that they needed to have a good qualifying and have a good race. So it was kind of like they were on the back foot in that regard. Norris had a poor start for the race purposes, and he had that battle with Leclerc.
Ollie P8 in qualifying, guys.
I thought you said you wanted to talk about the race, so I was going to move to the race, but okay.
I had to say that one thing, and now we can go to the race.
You want to talk about Lance?
Oh my gosh.
Lance
Let's had a great day.
Every time I go to watch turn 1, every other lap is Lance Stroll overtaking Pierre at the first half of the turn. Then the second half of the turn, Pierre goes, never mind, and overtakes him back. It was the same thing over and over again until I left at like lap 30 something to go storm the track.
It kept happening when you left, I swear.
No, it was just the whole race. It was
over and
not
again.
actually gaining anything, just repeating over and over. They fall in love again and again and again and again because it just happened again and again and again and again.
I hope they were entertained because other than the Leclerc-Norris battle, which was very entertaining as well, that was definitely like the highlight of turn 1 was those two going at it. I want to briefly mention Carlos, his 5-lap stint that got him a 5-place grid penalty for Mexico. So kind of a two tails for Carlos. Before we end off, because I know we kind of like spud through that, but I do want to very briefly mention that Max has scored 119 points in the last 5 races. That is equivalent to what both McLarens have scored in the last 5 races. Since Zandvoort, he has dropped the 104-point gap to 40. And we've still got a lot of racing to go. So, I need 2 predictions from you. I need a championship winner. And I need a Mexico GP podium.
Well, I'm going to start with my champion, and then someone else is going to do Mexico, and then I'll give mine. I'm still hoping for a Lando win, and if it's not Lando, but will be Oscar, it's not going to be Max.
Okay.
For the champion.
Lando, champion.
You're saying that?
Jason? No, you're saying Lando.
I do think Lando will be champion.
Okay.
I don't know if Max, he needs to be so ruthlessly consistent because, we talk about like, one more McLaren DNF this, one more McLaren DNF that. What about Max DNF? Like, that could happen.
Stop jinxing it. Knock on freaking wood, dude.
No.
Oh.
Jinx
Anyways, yeah, right now I'm calling it Lando.
You back Ferrari. Do you not want this championship to go to Abu Dhabi? Is that not more interesting for you?
Oh, yeah, I think it will, but I think Lando is going to win it.
Okay. So Lando and Lando. I think Oscar, as much as I love Max, and I do think that he is more than capable of gnawing down 40 more points in 5 races with 2 sprints still as well. McLaren hasn't had any reliability issues greatly, especially on Oscar's side of the car. So I think
I'm just knocking on some wood.
I figured.
You know what? We should ask the Bing AI, aka Microsoft
So we're running out of time, so let's not do that. Let's go on to Mexico. Jason?
Mexico, Jason.
It's gonna be a Max win because Red Bull do so well there. It's gonna be a Hamilton second because I love Lewis Hamilton.
Wow.
And it's gonna be Oscar third because he might as well get something before he loses the championship.
This might shock Marina, but I will let Max win. He can win Mexico.
You don't have to let Max do anything. He's going to take that goddamn win.
And then Charles will get P2.
Okay.
And then Lando P3. Exact same podium, just slightly different order from COTA.
Okay. I agree Max is going to win. I agree there will be a Ferrari on the second side of the podium. I think it's going to be Charles. Charles runs well in Mexico, generally speaking. But I think George might take that third step. He has been very consistent. No McLaren's on the podium. Shocker. It can happen. But we've also never gotten a prediction right on this podcast, so you never know. Constructors is done. Drivers is still up for grabs, but the constructors' second place is still very, very tight. All of that TBD in 5 races time. But for now, we have Mexico next week, so we will see. But in the meantime, stay tuned on our socials at Let's Elate Us on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you guys so much for watching.